Hello and welcome. I'm the Expert Layman, and this is Rocket League. I guess sort of another in the series of the psychology of toxicity, which, wow, it's like impossible to play without running into tons and tons of people that are just there to ruin other people's day and do it as a team. I guess you could call it, a tribe has emerged. You could call tribe toxic. And it's something that happens all the time, where if you have a bunch of underdeveloped young males without anything better to do, they will form up into groups and engage in delinquency. I don't think about the online environment is you don't need all of the pieces you used to need to have some form of manifestation of this. And it's funny because before Epic made a weird decision. They took a page out of like East Germany from the 80s and 70s and 60s. And where the problem wasn't the environment that made people want to leave. It was the people leaving was the problem. So we better, put up walls and like try to shoot people who get out, because obviously this is a utopia, and the problem is clearly the people leaving. And Epic Games decided, oh my God, there's so much toxicity. Let's cut off the escape routes because it's the people leaving that are the problem. I actually believe that Epic curates an environment of toxicity because it makes them money. Because it's so strange, because I used to, before Epic decided the leavers were the toxic ones and not the toxic people making people leave. Before that, I could spot someone in a self-sabotage or team sabotage like mode, usually within the first like 10, 15, 30 seconds at most. I just get out because I'm not there for that. I can't work on the things I want to work on when someone is deliberately undermining me. And that worked great. My MMR was, for unranked, because that was less toxic than ranked, so that's what I played. I got as high as like the top 0.6 or 0.7%. So I was pretty much only seeing, for years, I was only seeing champions and grand champions when I would play. But now you can't escape them. And even stranger, ranked is less toxic than unranked now. So, and even in ranked, I don't know, a year or more ago when I actually cared about rank, I got up into, mid diamond. And I will not engage with toxic players. If they are deliberately trying to undermine me, I will not play with them. It's bad for you. You start, if you engage with them on a level, you're accepting it, and then it starts getting integrated into your play, and you become one of the zombies. And the strangest part is that people, if you have a teammate who is clearly throwing on you, so just playing bronze, even though they have like a much higher rank or, MMR, and you take exception to this, their tribe mates on the other team will help their partner, their what do you call it? Their tribesmate. So your teammate could literally drive by the ball without even jumping a few times and then like knock it into their own goal. And then you're like, hey, what the hell, dude? And then the people on the other team, if they're part of Tribe Toxic, will all pretend that you are the problem. And that is kind of how they see it, because they're signaling to each other. The maneuvers that I saw and would get away from when Epic allowed that, would, if you're not doing toxic things, they will recognize you as the outgroup, and they will all try to ruin your game. Like immediately, like if you're just like, okay, I'm not playing, your teammate who was playing at sub bronze will suddenly shoot up to like platinum or diamond skill, and then his toxic tribe mates on the other team will suddenly drop down to bronze because they want their tribe to win, and he is currently their guy. And I'm going to demonstrate this tonight. Oh, and since I refuse to play with the toxic people, well, anybody can say they don't care about rank. I really don't. And I've watched my rank drop. Because, you know, I'm in rank because it's less toxic now. Because casual used to be less toxic because if people were toxic, people would leave. And that's a correction of the behavior. And they don't want to be sitting there alone. So it would constrain how badly they would behave. But now they can't leave casual, and casual is a better excuse for, dude, it's casual. If I want to own goal, that's how I play the game. Why are you mad, bro? You know, like literally, this is how bad it's gotten. And ranked is actually less toxic. I play the game now in search of that non-toxic player, because it's funny. You could watch, like, you drop, and you run into one non-toxic, actually cooperative player, and you just win 90% of your games. And that person doesn't even have to be very good, just not actively undermining me. So I am all the way down, somewhere in low gold now, just because I won't allow myself to be infected. But my priority when playing is always, if I find somebody who's actually cooperative, I don't care about the topic of the stream. I'm going to go have real games with a real human being who isn't full of rage. And the reason, the most insidious part is if they get you to start playing that way, and you start doing those things too, and a more or less socially healthy person, a more or less socially healthy person will adapt to their environment. And if you have to become, like, you drop someone in, you know, otherwise socially healthy into, like, I don't know, like a ghetto situation or someplace awful, and they will figure out quickly what you have to do to survive. And even though it's just a game, the same mechanisms come into play. And as soon as you start doing the maneuvers, they become invisible to you. You're like, what's, you know, like the bronze drive-by, where, like, they clearly have, like, an unchallenged shot on the ball, or not much challenged, and they will just drive by. And it's like, that is so clearly them trying to screw their teammate. But if all other 3 players in the game are part of Tribe Toxic, none of them will see it that way. So it starts developing, it's turning what were decent players into toxic players who can't see toxicity while engaging in it. And you'll see them playing sub-bronze, and then if you simply stop moving, they'll stop hiding their power level and play at their actual skill. Because they want to show that you're terrible and they don't need you. And they'll literally say this, like, I don't need you. There's a funny little thing that happens. If you don't engage, if you just sit there and don't do anything, see, they need to eat somebody. It's the same thing with the juvenile gangs. As long as there's other people to basically parasitize, they'll have cohesion. But as soon as, like, they don't have, like, a normie or whatever to group up on, somebody has to suffer, and they'll just choose one of their own. Oops. Well, that was not a normal maneuver. And if they suspect that you're, like, better than them, regardless of what you think, if they're worried that they're playing with someone that's better than them, oh my gosh, I gotta put up on my bad. I mean, I did come really close, but because you will still run into people who are quite cooperative. Like that guy, he basically just passed it to me. And I found, A lot of people from Latin America playing on the North America servers, and statistically they seem to be less toxic, and I think that might be because of soccer and the carryovers. This guy doesn't seem too bad, but for most of the people, that was awesome. They're just in suppression mode, and somebody who might be like relatively cooperative for even a couple of games, like it's just a countdown till they find something that they're unhappy about and go into thrower mode. I've also, on many streams, pointed out that I think, this probably isn't the case, but it's so consistent that it's hard to ignore. Like, I think the game can detect when you're streaming and they don't match you up with the toxic players as much. Also, I've noticed if you take a day off, if you don't play for 24 hours, when you do come back, you don't get it matched with as many toxic players. But once you've, put it like an hour in or something, it goes back to baseline. And if you're just playing like every day, you pretty much never see the non-toxic players. So definitely, and I thought it was a phenomenon of just taking a day off and you play better, but as the criteria I use for assessing toxicity became more precise, more detailed, it became clear that if you play regularly, they put you in a different category of who they match you with. Now again, this could be completely wrong, but yeah, I thought about putting the chat up, but the chat is usually just so toxic. And the other weird thing, PlayStation, I used to only I never had cross-network play enabled because people on PlayStation were more toxic, and now that has flipped as well. But I don't mean to say that the people on that are actually less toxic, but a lot of the people on PC are on PC, so they can have their like toxic drama in chat. And I'm sure if I was on PlayStation, I'd probably find the PC people less toxic, because if you can't talk, just be horrible in chat, it's less appealing to the people who want to come and just be horrible. Oh, that was an epic pinch right there. I gotta say my bad. Oh, I think I can get him a good one here. Yeah. Oops. That works too. This is unbelievable. Like, I just spent 2 hours playing, and like every opening kickoff, somebody either bailed on it or was, just sitting there. Well, that's still a bail. The kickoff bail at the beginning of the game is basically a harbinger of doom. Whether they just sit there or whether they drive by the ball or they drive at the ball, but then don't even jump. Basically, they've worked out the angle to send it at their own goal. Can't believe I didn't get a touch on that. Damn it! I just screwed him. Oh, and he just screwed his teammate. Give me a crappy clear that I can score with. So I'm having fun here. I think part of the reason I want to stream is because I can have some, like, teammates that aren't super toxic. And that is a, that is increasingly just the standard. What was he thinking there? He basically centered it for us. See, it's about labeling somebody as the baddie. Oops. But at the same time, like, signaling your tribe affiliation. If they weren't fighting each other, I wouldn't be performing this well. They're feeding us a lot of opportunities. And you might say, oh, their goals, they're just bad. It's like, you can tell how good someone is. You don't have to look at the results of someone's actions to tell how good they are. You can tell how they approach the ball because, yeah, they're trying. Of course, there's a, you know, if you didn't really try, you didn't really fail, and they'll go into a mode where, you know, anti-try hard, I guess you could call it. And it's funny how, like, majoritives have emerged around being non-toxic. While someone's sweaty or a tryhard, that's like literally getting mad at someone for not throwing. Like, and throwing is, I guess you'd use a wide definition. Like, I'm just glad that I got to spend so much time in actual team sports. Like, and not, I mean, some organized, like, but for the most part, just pick up games of basketball and, like, understanding, like, you know, there's a rules to these negotiations that predate humans. I mean, you have a human manifestation of it. Now we'll wait. If he wants to group up, we can group up. Okay, but never mind. All I have to do to get non-toxic is, you give this a check. My own voice. Like nails on a chalkboard. And then I have to rewatch every stream afterwards to make sure I didn't do anything too stupid, so then I have to listen to it again. Or say anything too stupid. I'm gonna do stupid things, that's... That was actually pretty good, Cool. That was an opportunity for a fairly... And he handled that well. And the other thing is, when it, like, there's an episode of South Park where the kids are playing baseball, and they find out if they win a game that they're going to lose their summer, like, traveling to play other teams. So they have this plan to, like, lose the game, but they got to hide. They have to hide it because if it's too obvious, these guys are not bad. That could go either way. maybe not. They have to hide it because, you know, and that's what it is. It's a game of trying to hide your sabotage, and mostly from yourself. Because that's when you'll get the people like who will actually, you know, eat a band by rage quitting. It's like if they lose the ability, if it becomes too obvious what they are and what they're doing, they have to leave. Like confronting that is too much, and they'll just like, and a lot of times it'll happen with like 10 seconds left in the game. It's like all you had to do is wait 10 more seconds, but now you're gonna either abandon. Usually they just bitch quit, which is, yeah, I don't think he's throwing. I think he's just, he is his actual rank. And these guys are probably Diamond Smurfs. I'm surprised they're not on a team. Of course, with these guys, as soon as... Okay, that... Yeah. Just being able to tell the difference between someone who lacks skill and someone who's sabotaging is how they approach the ball. Because they will approach the ball at their actual skill, and then will like sabotage it later. I mean, unless they are like in a really like sabotaging mode. And then you can tell, like, there's certain shots where it's like, you can just tell by the approach. Like, there was no other outcome that could have occurred from that approach of the ball. That worked out. Come on, big clear. Thank you. Well, that wasn't as good as it could have been, but at least placement wasn't that bad. So yeah, freaking 3 players in a row that, like, aren't toxic. This is abnormal. But you know what? Screw it. I'm having fun. Oh well, that was a little too high. Oh shoot, man. Every once in a while my controller will just freeze on whatever buttons are currently pressed, and I thought it was that I tried a bunch of different ways to cope with the new environment of super toxicity. And one of the ways is a babysitter macro that I made using, was it Pullover's macro creator? And all it really does is it'll drive forward for 1 to 4 seconds, and then it'll jump, and then it'll drive backwards for 1 to 4 seconds, and then it'll repeat. And it is interesting because people will realize, even if you don't tell them, that there isn't another person there. Like, if they're trying to sabotage you, but you are not engaging at all with what's going on in the environment, like, their ability to inject their toxicity into you, it doesn't work. Yeah, I think these guys started turning on each other. What's one? Oh, I thought I had it. And it would have just, like, gone right over him. But this is amazing. I'm so glad I streamed. Sorry I don't get to demonstrate the... Wow. I gotta give my bad for that, because that was a great pass. I was just late. Good dude. Oh, I think he was boostless. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, he seems to have flipped the switch. We got like 2 weird drive-bys in a row. And then he not only drives by the ball, but takes me out of the play. Like if he was just trying to beat me to the ball, that would have gone differently. He is mad about something. A lot of times I think it's just somebody wasn't paying attention to the score. And then they look up and... Actually, I haven't looked, so who knows. But definite tone shift with my teammate here. He just gave up. But that's really subtle. But that was the kind of thing I was talking about earlier, where they will play nice and then slowly move into a toxic mode. And a lot of this, it's going to sound weird, but you can do things deliberately that you're not conscious of. Because if someone takes all the actions for a particular outcome, but they become so adept at self-delusion that if you ask them, they'd have no idea, legitimately have no idea what you're talking about. But they've taken a series of steps that could only lead to one outcome. I'm calling that deliberate. I don't think someone's adeptness. There we go. That's more standard. Give them a wow. And by a miracle, 1 or 2 seconds after this next kickoff, he will start moving. And I think the best thing to do is just pull up in front of them and be like, hey, there's... But the best thing to do right now is... nothing. The best chance of getting him not to throw is to just sit here. And this is the thrower switch. Drive by. Oh no. Because you'll trigger the I don't need you, I can do this by myself, and then they're super invested in trying to do it by themselves. But typically, as soon as you start moving, they will go back to bronze. And of course, there was no sorry. But he has a goal to make up before I'll start moving again. Especially since, you know, he wants to act like he didn't do anything wrong. That's a bad sign. He should have felt some guilt over that. And Tribe Toxic manifests. You will pretend this is a real game, because I need this to be a real game, even though it's not a real game. And here's where they will start throwing to try to help him. Look at that. They're all like, take it, dude. That guy's not one of ours. We need to help our toxic brother. But now that it's evening again, I'll start playing. But what will happen is you'll see him go from, like, you know, plat or whatever he's currently playing at. In all likelihood, he's going to go back down to bronze. Or down to bronze. Hmm. That was a... Yeah, he's keeping it subtle. He's still in the... I don't need you mode. But it's still at a level of subtlety that I'm not going to respond to it. Of course, he didn't even jump there, so... Yeah. I'm going to wait for something a little bit more overt. Like that. If I stop moving, he stops missing. Of course, he can't see that I'm not moving. As soon as he can see that I'm not moving, it'll change. And this is how you turn the thrower switch on and off. But engaging with them is what they want, so... Oh, look at him go now. And he was holding back even more than I thought. And of course, I stopped moving, and his toxic tribe mates suddenly stopped defending. But, as per the rule that I've been... I guess you call it the... But there's a little lag time from for mode switches. People switch differently at different times over different things. So it looks like they were still in the throw for their toxic brethren mode. Even though I'd started moving. Because it's... Except for the most toxic people. This is unconscious. And I'll give him a great pass. Because that will upset him more than anything. He was trying to pass to the other team, which I knew he was going to try to do. And intercepting passes to the other team is, it's kind of fun. But people don't want to believe they're that thing. And sometimes you can draw them into pretending to be non-toxic long enough to have an almost decent game. There was a boost. Gonna center it? Are you gonna be that obvious? Yep, he didn't even jump there. That whole like drive at the ball and angle it at your own goal. There's another drive-by, and he's back to toxic. Like, remember how he was playing earlier with like the multiple taps? And he was actually like, yeah, that's pretty overt. Well, I'm gonna really trigger him now. But it's about exploiting people's desire to win, because, you know, the people, the story they're telling themselves is that they want to rank up. And if you have not been sufficiently infected with toxicity, they are going to try to inject it into you. Yes, literally the same player that was demonstrating platinum, maybe even diamond skill earlier. And this is how he's playing now. But the fun part is yeah, he couldn't fake that one. Plus, watch Loster here. He drives by, and then he takes a hard loop and just watches it go in. Like, that's my boy. He needs goals. But if there isn't enough time left in the game, like I said, it takes a little time for a mode switch. If I'm no longer available, wow. Same guy. If I'm no longer available for parasitization, somebody's got to eat the pain. So they will stop helping him and just start dunking on them over and over again because, like I said, somebody's got to feel the pain. And if you don't have somebody else, if they don't have somebody outside their tribe, they'll just go after somebody in their own tribe. Which is, I imagine, in games that I'm not in. This is actually a good way to win games that you would have lost if you'd kept playing. It's like, okay, so if I move, he plays bronze or silver. But if I stop moving, he plays platinum or diamond. Well, and it's not that they're that bad, because like you can do stuff with someone who's not skilled, but just not undermining you. He just wants to talk trash. And if I were a different kind of streamer, I would indulge that. But overall, like, and he's not even that bad. Like but that opening kickoff bail is basically a 90% indicator. And if they say sorry once, 50-50 that it was actually an accident. If they spam sorry, they're just toxic. And they're doing the sorry troll thing where it's like they keep saying sorry, but they don't stop doing the things that, you know, would elicit a sorry. Oh. Why would you try to ram me off a boost that I was already closer to? And he is probably going to drive by. Nope. Gonna drive by. Pass to the other team. Pass to the other team. Like, and I'm not even saying he had to pass it. He actually had a self-pass opportunity. And he says, nice shot. I will play along. I mean, I don't know where you'd put me. I'd say, I typically just say plat, even, you know. It just really depends on the ability of my teammate to cooperate a lot more than their actual technical skill. I was actually pretty freaking close. By boost, I would go. What is he doing? Now they're undermining each other. Nice drive by. Nice pass to the other team. Nice loop around in the wrong direction. That's the thing. That's a dark truth that like makes this stuff invisible too. You want to believe you're earning all your own goals. You don't want to believe that the reason that opportunity came up is because, you know, somebody on the other team is throwing. Oh, shoot, stuck control. I got to figure out what's going on with this. I give him a what a save because that was pretty awesome. I should have gotten that higher. If he'd done that differently, that could have been. Yeah, I figured his teammate was going to come in and try to steal it from him. There's been a tone shift with my teammate here. Seems to be picking up some toxicity from the other guys. Combine that with a little insecurity, because I had a couple of cool shots. Nah, he seems to be doing okay. There we go. These are some of the best games I've had. I actually took two days off from playing the game. And for like an hour, all I got was cooperative players, and that was freaking awesome. And I log in later that day, and it's back to baseline. So it does appear that, you know, Epic... And I'm not going to say Psionics because, you know... The puppet regime isn't worth addressing. It's like, if it's not the people actually making the decisions... Oh boy. Thought I could get a little touch. That's not good. Oh, he hit it to the side. That was unfortunate, but, you know, his camera probably got all jacked there. Oh, I'm having fun here. Oh, wait, hey, sorry. From the chat, Gator Gaming. Hi, can we play? I play on Switch, and I'm Diamond 321. Do you have a Discord? I do. You can find my Discord in the description, and when I get done with the stream, I will be more than happy to play with you. Oh. I usually stream like at night, like late at night, so I don't get a whole lot of chat messages. So, sorry if that's been sitting up there a while and I didn't notice. I figured I wouldn't have much trouble demonstrating how you can turn someone's thrower switch on and off multiple times in a game. But it depends on how quickly they react and, you know, how deep in the toxicity they are. Yeah. Let's do that. Like I said, if I get decent people, I'm writing off the stream topic and I'm just going to have fun because that's such a rare thing. And virtually every time I stream, the toxicity of my teammates goes down a ton. Now, if I'm going to be self-critical, you know, if I was going to try to step outside myself and be objective, a reasonable person might say, well, maybe since you know what you're doing is being recorded, you're playing differently, and that's causing other people to play differently. And that would be a fair criticism, I think. I think because the criteria are so rigorous in how I determine whether someone's being, it's a spectrum of like low effort to mild sabotage to active sabotage. And then, at the other end of the spectrum is like own goaling. So I don't believe that my diagnostic criteria are fuzzy enough for that to occur. But you know what? Everybody thinks that. In whatever it is they're trying to assess. Everybody believes they're a lot more objective than they are, and it would be rather arrogant of me to exclude myself from that list. So I am open to criticism on that. I think I just did myself. Oh, it's weird that we're waiting. Did he change the? Does he have a weird Dun, 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 dun. Knight Rider was so cool in the 80s. I know it's so freaking lame now, but at the time, like, man, the car that could talk to you and had that watch that could somehow unlock doors that weren't electronic. Like, originally it was like, you know, he could, you know, tap into the electronic systems. But then the righty got lazy later, and it's like he'd just point his watch and be like, hey, unlock this. It's like, that's just a lock. There's nothing electronic about it. How is his watch unlocking that? Oh. And this is the thing I love. I love working on, like, you know, passing stuff. Like, because people don't expect to pass because, you know, toxicity. So when you're with someone that you can actually, like, pass to, it is so much fun. And that's the stuff I like to work on. And you can't work on it when people are actively undermining you. Oh, shoot. Yeah, that was a bit throwery. It should have been a... God damn it. Not my teammate, the other team. That's the part that's hard to see. Like I said, you don't want to think that, like... Who wants to believe that most of their goals are unearned? Little touch, little touch. Oh, that was actually... That was well done, sir. Forced me to... It's nice having, I play in a 16:3 aspect ratio, so like I can see stuff that other people can't because I just had this, like my center screen is kind of like a zoomed in standard screen, but then I gotta give him a close one. Not even mad. That happened because he was trying to be courteous. I was hoping he would take that. Look at how much better he's getting. Like, people get really defensive when they have to play tons and tons of toxic people. And then, like, when they start to relax and let, you know, and the tension of, like, constantly worrying about being undermined by your teammates, like, fades away, you'll see people get a lot better. A little too much mustard. Oh, maybe not. Nice shot. That's what I really want to work on. I want to work on the passing. But, like, one of the first stages of toxicity is they start to refuse to accept passes. I don't know. As long as I keep getting cooperative people, I might just keep streaming. I found the hack to make Epic's matchmaker... That would be... If it is true, that is really messed up. That they don't want, like, the public knowing how toxic their game is, so if the game detects that you're streaming... I wonder if I just turn the streaming software on, even though I'm not streaming, if this could be my way. I had to give him my bad on that because that was a little too similar to a thrower maneuver. And I imagine I'm getting better too, but it's hard to assess how good you're doing. It's like you can feel it when you're playing bad, but some people don't even feel that. They're just getting worse, and they think that they can compensate by just like driving faster, or being more aggressive is the way to compensate for. Yeah, I'll come slap on that one. Yeah, he said sorry. I will say my bad, even though I don't. He seems to have flipped the switch. Like, put it right in the middle, and then like don't put any effort to getting back on defense. And that'll happen. You'll have people who are like playing super nice and like something, and it could be like their dad came into the room and yelled at them. It could be as simple as that, or they got a text from their girlfriend. And now they're like, unhappy. Like, a lot of extraneous stuff can force a change in behavior. And I think we're definitely seeing that here. That's a little dubious. I mean, as far it may, he may have actually been trying there. There are some that are just like, basically rock solid thrower maneuvers. Like if he's centered right here, then this is. It's like somebody else like he handed the controller to somebody else, which I think happens sometimes. I felt sorry for this kid. Apparently he was like young. Somebody I'll get on the Rocket League servers. Discord server. And just try to find somebody who's like, actually cooperative and stuff. And then require a mic so that, a lot of the really toxic people don't want to be on mic because they need that barrier, that level of abstraction. Because to verbalize, a lot of this stuff, it would... Their ability to obfuscate their own conduct from themselves would be more difficult, so they're not interested. So it's kind of a way to... Yeah, he's angry. He's driving angry. I've stopped communicating in chat. Oh, and this kid, like, he wasn't great, but he was being cooperative. And then I'd forgotten that he said, "Oh, I have an hour to play," and then I realized, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta get out of voice," And I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." And then, like, immediately, like, the tone completely changed. It wasn't, and I'm almost certain that it was his older brother, which he referenced. This was like, this was his brother's system. And I'm pretty sure his brother made him get off the voice and then just started playing super toxic. And it probably killed him because it's like he had no way of letting me know that wasn't him. And I thought about saying something, but that might not have gone well for him. His brother might have taken offense to that, and I wouldn't have to pay for that, but he might. So I just kind of played along for one game and bailed because There are a few situations where I would stay in a toxic situation like that. Yeah. It's like I was saying, like even people that seem to be, you know, like they don't know how to negotiate these kind of relationships, and then at some point they just like, you know, freak out. Like they've allowed themselves to be vulnerable, and even if I haven't done anything to make them feel insecure, just that level of vulnerability of actually being cooperative will freak them out a little bit, and they will just flip. But I suspect it has more to do with like extraneous sources. You know, the dad coming in and yelling, and their friend, or problems with their friends, or you know, got a text, got an email. Well, that was classy. Are you going to center it up? Like hit it at your own goal? He's not there yet. But if I stayed with him, this would just progress. Because once it starts going in this direction, it doesn't come back. Miss. Called it. I can tell by the approach. I can tell. You could say that there's a toxic approach on the ball. Center. Nope. He wasn't quite there yet. And the really sad thing is, like, I've played with people who are so happy to have somebody who's not, you know, toxic to play with, and then their procedural memory, their, you know, the way they play the game, almost all the time is what emerges, and they start basically, you know, pulling toxic maneuvers, even though they consciously don't want to be doing it. And just to hear someone become so apologetic in Discord because they feel terrible that they keep screwing me, but they can't seem to stop doing the things. And it's because once you play... oh, he bailed. He bailed on the group. Saved me the trouble. How long have I been streaming? Oh, like right at an hour. Well, I'm still feeling pretty good, so I will keep going. Well, it's weird that there aren't... you should be able to have timestamps on the chat. Like, once you, like in World of Warcraft, like once you went from like not having timestamps to having timestamps, I just wanted to force him to chuck it in a suboptimal way. That was a nice shot. Which I told him. I could turn on the chat, or maybe I will. I went through the effort of figuring out how to make that work. Oh, wow. Toxic. He just totally bailed on that ball. And my teammate is AFK in the goal. Yep, they're signaling to each other. Like, I'm toxic. Are you toxic? Yeah, I'm toxic. Well, show me you're toxic. Okay, watch this. I'm not even going to jump. I'm going to make it look like I tried, but, you know, if I had actually tried, he's going to bail, yeah. Center up for the other team, and then cycle back. Oh. The other guy was too slow. Like, one of them might not be throwing. Yeah, look at my teammate. He's just climbing around the wall back there. This is about trying to elicit something from their teammate for being tired. You know. When they're in low effort mode like this, it's so easy to score. Oh my god, he's just flying around the wall back there. He's like, notice me! Look how toxic I'm being! Oh! Close. Figured he was going to do that. Nope. Goddamn controller. But I haven't been able to isolate it just to the controller. And he seems to be going back and forth. Oh, and that was definitely not to me. Is he going to follow it up or bail? Oh, I guess you can't really judge that. I thought that wasn't that bad. Go for the wall. No, I've had a teammate that wasn't just sitting in back doing the whole, like, I don't need you, I will just wait for you to fail and then I will drive it up and show you that I don't need you. This is the kind of person that will, intentionally flub passes because they don't want to they'll pass it to them and then they'll do their best to flub it because that's cooperation, and Tribe Toxic doesn't do cooperation. It pretends, but dubious, not conclusive. Give it to me. Give it to me. Thank you. I could have done more with that. Yeah. That's one of those approach toxicity. Like, if he had wanted a different outcome, he wouldn't have approached the ball the way he did. There's still no, like, hard, like, toxic throwers. Like the guys that just shot bail, like, at the beginning of the game. I think I'm playing pretty well, but again, that's kind of hard to judge on yourself. But you do know when you're playing bad. And the weird thing that people do, where they won't leave a game that's clearly over. That's like a big sign of toxicity. the refusal to forfeit even when there is no game, and the people who, and I'm sorry, a lot of this is like acquired toxicity, where they get mad at people leaving games. But it's like, and I'll see it, it'd be like, 6-1, but like 2 minutes left. And somebody leaves like, I can't believe they left. Why would they leave? That's just bitch move. It's like, if they came here for a game, and this is a distinction I used, the difference between a game, a match, and a lobby. I'm actually getting kind of hungry here. Didn't get some great examples, but I'm guessing they're probably not forthcoming. Cold. It's always good to stop playing while you're still playing well. Because if you continue to play when you're not playing well, like I said, you can't tell if you're playing good, but you know when you're playing bad. And a lot of times it's because you've shifted into a self-sabotage mode, probably because of the toxicity of other players. If you continue to play in that state, you're training yourself to be that type of player, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to become one of the toxic zombies, one of the masses. Well, this has been, the psychology of toxicity. How to flip the thrower switch. I am the expert layman. You all have a great day.